a few miles southeast of town lies the Minert Farm. This farm is where the story of one devoted mother, Anita Minert, and her talented daughter, Laura, are pursuing their passion in Morgan horse training. It is on this farm where 14 Morgan horses, the original breed of American horse, are tended to and prepared for competition against competitors from across the globe. They also take part in the World Championships of Horse Training, which are held once a year in Oklahoma City. On the first weekend of August, Anita won 4 awards, including runner-up for Best in Show. Anita sees these competitions as more than just the opportunity to put out a good name for the family, which includes her daughter Laura, son Chris, and husband David, who all work to train and maintain the horses.
Representing the state of Iowa more than anything, and that, you know, people say, oh, you're from Iowa, you know, and you can compete and you're an amateur, you're not getting paid, you know, to do that, and that's a sense of pride.
Money has never been the driving force in Anita's pursuit of excellence in her sport. She has loved horses since she was 8 years old.
She competed at the county level on 4-H, and the pony did well and was eligible to go to the Iowa State Fair, but she wasn't old enough.
I wanted a pony, and so my mom and dad got me a pony for Christmas. And since I'm an only child, I didn't like to ride by myself, so I convinced my dad that he ought to have something to ride to. So we would ride together, and then my dad broke his back, and riding wasn't really the way to go. So we started driving horses, and we bought a Morgan horse right in the beginning to drive, because that's what they're most famous for, and then the rest is history. At the World Championships in Oklahoma City, I was second in the world. I've been that twice. And I'd really like to be first in the world, but maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't. But then I've had, at that same show, they also have national champions, and I've been national champion 4 or 5 times.
Anita's success in the sport has been an inspiration to her 19-year-old daughter, Laura, who also competes in Morgan horse events.
My mom is my role model. She's done very well and enjoys it, so I like to, and she wins a lot and gets the big things at the national level, and I would like to be able to do that someday.
The Minerts do all of the work to maintain, train, and raise the horses. The amount of time they spend together working with the horses has caused them to bond.
We've always had this together. It's kind of something that it adds to what we already have, kind of our interest. It keeps us probably from not hating each other like most daughter-mother relationships. So we have it to come back to, and we can do that if things ever get stressful.
This bond has been in development for at least a generation. It got started with Anita and her own mother.
We always just did stuff together, and she knew what we had to do and everything. Well, she knew she was going to get a pony, because I always had a pony. I had a Snow White pony.
Raising the animals that they have bred allows them to get to know the horses and build the trust that they will need to allow them to be successful during performances.
I think a lot of it's the day-to-day living together and being together and watching them and knowing what their personality is. Because horses are just like people. Some of them are more nervous around things, and others are calm, and then something different will happen, and just the knowledge of horse behavior. They're very intelligent. They remember everything that's ever happened to them, and that's how they can be easily trained, but also that's how they can easily learn bad habits. So you have to actually be careful of what you do once, because if you want them to react that way every time, if that's an all right reaction, or else you're always trying to correct things. But that's a repetition a lot. Just like teaching or learning any activity for even a student, it's the repetition of doing things over and over that they understand.
Some of them, I mean, we bought a couple, but generally most of them we have raised since they were little.
Do the horses help out on the farm, like with any of the labor that happens, or they just...
No, they just watch. They just watch.
The Minerts have a deep love for the animals they raise, and it's hard to lose one.
Our favorite horse for a lot of years was our black horse called Cash, and he was our first horse that did everything, and that's where we learned, I guess, a lot. We would see something, oh, I bet he'll do that, and we tried that, and then he was good at that. Oh, I bet he'll do this too. Let's try this. And so I guess Cash was our favorite. And when he died of pneumonia, it was a hard few weeks, months, even a good year to get over him being gone.
Luckily for the Minards, they have found another reliable horse, a fleet-footed filly named Tandy. Her talents have helped them remain on the competitive edge in their Morgan horse events. The biggest current challenge Anita and her family face may be finding enough time and energy to get Tandy and the other horses ready for competitions. This constant challenge sometimes leaves Anita wondering whether or not her family can continue to Morgan horse train.
You think about that all the time this winter when you've had drifts up above your knees, and so you think about why do I do this? It takes so much time and it's hard work, but we've often talked about downsizing just because it's so much to cope with for our family. But it keeps us alive, it keeps us young, to go out every day and have these pets.
Taking care of her pets is something that has helped Anita acquire the patience needed to balance a full-time job as choir director for William Penn University and be a mother of two. Most importantly, however, is being able to trust her daughter when she hands the reins over to Laura in some of the competition events.
One of the favorite moments I had is when Laura and I compete in the same class, and we go through a set of cones, between cones, in a timed event, and they're numbered 1 through 10. In this division, one of us will drive the horse 1 through 10, and then they trade reins, and then the other person goes backwards, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, to the end. And I think we've done that a couple of times. We keep getting better every time, but it's so much fun to actually do it with my own daughter, to go out there and drive and do the best we can and compete against these, much older, more experienced adults, and to have us, I think we've been third in the nation. So,
do you feel comfortable giving the reins over to your daughter, so to speak?
I do now. It took me a little bit to get that confidence that she knows that she can cope with every near disaster that might take effect. Horses are, even the most experienced horse is still an animal, and you don't know what they're thinking, what might scare them, and so you're like, okay, does she have the skills and the knowledge to not panic if something bad would happen? And I'm past that.
Laura's prowess has earned her some individual success as well.
There's one class and it's reinsmanship, and it's basically judged all on the driver and how they drive the horse. And my mom always has difficulty with that class just because it's like a crapshoot. You never know if you're gonna win. And I won that year. And it was like, we were so surprised. And I almost like broke down crying. I was like, it was crazy. We were so happy. That was probably the best thing that's ever happened.
Anita has plenty to be proud of with a daughter who, in addition to her success with the horses, is also an honor student at William Penn University. With the many successes Anita has had in her career, she has also earned one very valuable reward.
I guess my greatest reward has been having my children kind of follow in the family footsteps. But, we all just do it, and it's nice that they can have some joy out of them too.